Hi there and welcome. This is Jan Copeland with the Real Estate and Real Life podcast and video series. And today I am excited to be with my new friend, Amanda Webb with Gravity Marketing. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Jan. How are you this morning?
I am doing so great. Thank you so much for taking some time to chat with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as you know, this is about real estate and real life. And I met you online. And ladies, those of you who are either listening or watching, you really need to reach out and grow your audience, not only with clients within your specific markets, but also resources of awesome people like Amanda. Amanda's company does customized SEO and content marketing that helps you get out there and become, a go-to resource for real estate, the go-to person in your local community. So Amanda, I'm going to ask you, how did you get started? I believe you were at a brokerage in a support role. Could you tell us about that?
Yes. So I actually got my start in real estate back in 2015. And it's kind of a funny story. Real estate completely fell into my lap. It was not one of those deals where I ever thought I would get into it. I had been applying for some new jobs. The company that I was at, there wasn't any growth. So I started applying for a bunch of jobs and I got this call about a marketing position with Coldwell Banker. And I'm on the phone with the recruiter and I'm going through my mind going, what are you talking about? I don't remember applying for Coldwell Banker. And anyways, so long story short, I had several phone interviews and finally got in with the local marketing manager. And it was the worst interview I've ever had in my life. My husband and I, we had just moved into our new home and the house had just flooded. So I'm in my interview and my phone's going off the whole time. Like I can just hear it vibrating. And I thought I had turned it off, but I apparently vibrate, So
Yeah.
it's just going off. And it ended up being about a 20-minute interview. And the manager had asked me a question and I looked at him dead in the face. I was like, I don't know. Like it just came out, couldn't answer the question. And so I kind of looked at him, I took a breath and I said, I need to tell you what's going on right now. So I kind of told him what was going on with my, had been going on. Our house had just flooded. We'd only lived there for like 6 weeks. And so all the contractors' insurance was calling me to get everything kind of fixed. And he goes, well, it sounds like you have a lot going on. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up and I'll be in touch. I left that interview crying my eyes out, called my husband. I was like, I just bombed this interview. By the time I got home, he had added me on LinkedIn. I had sent him an email thanking him. It was a Friday afternoon. Monday, he called and offered me the job.
Wow.
So it literally fell into my lap. He said, I don't know what it was, but there was just something that connected with us. And I could tell that you were, you had a lot of passion in you. So he's like, I really thought that you would be really good for this role. So the role was a marketing coordinator and it was with Coldwell Banker down here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So I did a lot of support things. The first few months was just really learning the tools. But once I really got an understanding of everything, I go out and train the agents on how to use their marketing tools, how to set up their websites, how to set up their campaigns, information to include on those campaigns, information to include on their website, how to write for their website, all of that. The more and more I got out into the field, the more often I would have agents come up and say, hey, how much would you charge me to do this in your free time so I don't have to do it myself? So after a couple of years of just really learning the products and understanding real estate, my boss actually paid for me to get my license. So I went through the whole, licensing process and I still carry my license today. But I just realized that there was a need for people who understood the uniqueness of real estate agents, of how to run their website and what information needed to be included on there. Someone who really understood it. So I took a chance and I started my business.
That's amazing. And so I guess when you started it, you reached out to those Coldwell Banker people.
When I turned in my notice, within a day or two, everyone knew what I was doing. So for that first 6 months that I had started my business, I didn't have to do any marketing because all of those agents were calling me just saying, okay, here's my credit card number. What's it going to cost me? Just get it done. So those first several months, it was like a whirlwind. I was like, okay, business is great. I'm never going to have to, I'm just going to always have this pipeline. And then it was like, oh, I have to go learn how to market myself now. so I've been reaching out, just making connections, you know, like you and I connected, and, you know, trying to just network as much as I can, and get my foot in the door wherever I can. And that's how I've been slowly growing to outside of just Coldwell Banker agents and outside of DFW.
That's amazing. I love it. And there's so much in there with respect to, I believe the timing is everything.
Absolutely.
So the timing of the flooding of your house, which seemed like a catastrophe, may have been what had that recruiter saying, you know what, she's pretty poised in spite of this, and she's pretty
Mm-hmm.
excited, so I'm going to go for it. You know what I mean? And so I just think everything in that was really amazing, and also the fact that the best entrepreneurs who make it are the ones who do it out of their heart. You can tell you love
Mm-hmm.
what you do. And really, people can see the value, like the
Absolutely.
Coldwell Banker people saw the value. And then, of course, as you work with people, then they kind of figure out, hey, maybe I can do this. And so
Mm-hmm.
then you have to keep your pipeline going. So what you're doing is similar to what a real estate agent has to do. And
Yes.
so what would you say? I know that you trained agents. And
Mm-hmm.
so you know, you talk about customized SEO to make sure that when somebody Googles you, your website comes up and you're
Mm-hmm.
found. And so maybe if you have like one or two top tips that you could share with our audience of women real estate agents and brokers.
So the one thing I always tell agents is not only are you the real estate expert, you're the community expert. So when you're building out a content calendar, while you do need to have real estate information on there, I don't want you focusing just on real estate. I want you to showcase different events that are going on in the area. One of a blog post that I put out to my sphere not too long ago was some different topics to include. So community events, hidden gems in the area. You know, I was writing a community page for a client a few months ago, and it was about a community that's 10 minutes down the road from me. And they have this beautiful zip lining course. I've lived here my whole life and didn't even know that it was there. So go find those hidden gems. I have a client that goes out to local uh, coffee shop and breweries that are owned by local residents, and she interviews them. So really immerse yourself in the community. And the more you can immerse yourself in the community and show that you know what's going on, not just from a real estate point of view, but just from a general living here point of view, people are going to turn to you because they're going to know that you have that inner circle, inner knowledge of what's really taking place. So if you are really wanting to start growing online, the first thing that you need to do is think about, what do you want to be found for? So you want to be found for real estate, and you want to be found for that community information, and then grow off of that.
I think that's awesome. I agree. And I coach my clients with that. So I'm excited to hear that. Now, you are one of our VIP exhibitors at the
Mm-hmm.
second annual She's Unstoppable Live Conference, which is the first and only national conference specifically made for women. So
Yes.
talk to me about, where we're going to have hundreds of women. It's second year we're doing this. First year was amazing, and this year is going to be even more so. Bling, shopping, fun, learning. So tell me what you're excited about in coming to Richmond, Virginia in April.
So when you approached me with this, I called my husband and I was like, I have to figure out how to get there. There was another conference I wanted to go to later in the year, but it was more to grow my skills. And he was like, I think you need to go network. So this conference needs to come first. So I was like, and the other conference wasn't until later. So it wasn't even a 5-minute conversation. He was like, book the ticket, do what you need to do. You have to get to this conference because, it gives you it's a little bit more comfortable to network with just other women than it is, you know, with men and women. And I go to all types of conferences, but just that excitement and I guess that tribe that comes with supporting other female entrepreneurs. So I'm so excited to get up there. I went to my first conference back in September as an exhibitor, and I learned so much of what to do and what not to do. So I already have an idea of how to come up there and just be a better exhibitor and offer more value to everyone that I'm going to be meeting with. You know, I have a friend of mine who has supported me 100%, and she's making arrangements to try to join me up there so she can also help talk up my business. And that just goes to show how much your friends and other women support you. Like, she's willing to shift her schedule around to be there to help me with this. And and help me push my business because she truly believes in what I do. And so she wants to make sure that other women understand what I'm doing and see the value in it as well. So for me, it's just getting up there and getting to network and just meet people from outside of Texas, because I haven't got to meet a whole lot of agents outside of Texas yet.
Okay. Well, and you're in for a treat because we have over 200 women already signed up, and we're ahead of schedule from where we were last year. And they're coming from Maine, from Washington State, North Dakota, California, Texas. Well, you're in Texas, Florida, the Carolinas. I mean, I would say, Hawaii. We have two
Oh,
people flying
wow.
from Hawaii. So it's really, really amazing. And I'm so excited. Now, I did want to ask you something personal, but I was thinking of something. Oh, so you mentioned about you learned a few things on being an exhibitor. And many times realtors have opportunity within their environment or within their community to be an exhibitor. So can you share one thing that maybe you think is key to maximizing whenever you are, an exhibitor?
So the first time I was a exhibitor was at the Texas Realtors Conference down here in DFW. So this past year it was in Fort Worth. Next year it's going to be in San Antonio. But that was my first time to really get in front of a huge group of agents. I had the opportunity to actually do what they called a breakout session. It was a 20-minute training. So I put together the training and I tried to sell the training right there, like the package that it was based off of. And I realized I can't do that. Agents, because of the pricing. So if you are selling something, don't try to sell it there on site. So what I'm actually going to be doing when I'm up there is getting everybody the opportunity to sit down and do a one-on-one 20-minute strategy session with me outside of the conference. So that's what I'm actually going to be talking with agents about. Let me take a look at your website. Let me take a look at your email marketing, put together a strategy for you. And I want to hop on a call and give you some one-on-one advice. And then when you get off that call with me, you can either take that advice and implement it yourself, or here's what it would take for me to help you and do it for you. But that one thing is people aren't going to pull out their credit cards right then. And that was something that I learned. I had these huge hopes and dreams that I was going to go in and I was going to sell 5 or 6 packages, and didn't happen. I did sell one. I did have one agent that was like, I actually saw a ad that you had on Facebook. And so that's another thing. If you were going to be at this conference, like put out a few Facebook ads. I really got on the ground, put out those Facebook ads, and my breakout session was full, like standing room full.
Yay.
No other session was like that. I got copies of everyone that was going to be there. I was emailing them. So much grassroots marketing, just getting my information out there. And I actually talked with my rep later, and she was like, you were the only session that had all the seats filled. She was like, what did you do? And I said, it's my job to put their butts in those seats. So I got out there and did what I needed to do to get them there. Every time someone came by the booth, I had a flyer. Hey, I'm doing a breakout session at this time. Come over there. So it was a really good session. But the thing is because of how much work goes into setting things up, it's not, a couple $100 I'm asking to spend. It's a couple of thousand, and agents aren't ready to pull out that couple of $1,000s after 10 minutes together. So that's why I've learned I'm going to do those strategy sessions. I want them to see what I'm going to be doing for them, and then let them decide if they want to do it or if they want someone to do it for them.
I think that's fantastic. And I think realtors who are listening or watching this, I think that we could learn that, because my number one is to get face-to-face. But guess what? We are recording this with the magic of Zoom.
Yeah.
And so you can have that strategy session, right? Agents and brokers with our prospects, prospective buyers, prospective sellers, if they can't get in touch, in person, or just to make it easier for them. Because what Amanda's saying is true, in that when you have that more personal relationship, then the trust factor goes up, your competence increases, and then your chances of converting that prospect to an actual buyer or a seller goes up. Okay, so are you married, Amanda? Tell me about your personal life.
I am. So my husband and I have been married about 5.5 years. We celebrated 5 years back in October. We did end up selling that first house. It was a nightmare of a townhome, but we sold it after 15 months, and now we're in our second home. We've been here about 4 years. No kids. We just have our spoiled, rotten little dog, who is actually not so little, but she runs this household. Even though we pretend that she doesn't, she does. It's funny, right before you and I, got on the call, she was sitting here begging me to go outside. So I had just left the door open so she didn't interrupt us anymore. But yeah, we live here, and I'm very, very thankful, and I'm very lucky that I have a husband that supports my endeavors without question. When things slowed down and I was having to make a few shifts, when I first started my business, I tried to be everything for every agent. They would call me and say, hey, can you do this? And whether it was something I knew how to do or not, I took on the job and figured it out later. After a few months, and as any entrepreneur can attest to this, you realize you can't live life that way. You can't scale a business. So over the last few months, as I really started to zone in on the websites and the SEO, he has picked up some extra jobs just to make sure we had that money coming in while I made this shift. And I was talking to my business coach about this, and she was like, you are the only person that I know that has a husband that would be willing to go take on a second job so you could focus on your business. So I'm very lucky in that sense to have that support system behind me.
You're very, very blessed. Is it a high school sweetheart, or where did you meet?
No, so we actually met through some mutual friends. So the joke is, do you want the actual version or the version we tell everyone? We met at a concert here at Gillies, Dallas. He was there with one of my sorority sisters. He was the roommate of her boyfriend. And I had just graduated. He was still out in college, and I ran into her, and he was with them, and we hit it off and we talked. But for probably after that first time we met, we didn't see each other again for, I think, 3 months, because he was still in East Texas, which was about an hour and a half away from where I was living. And it was just hard to connect. And then finally we were able to go on a date, just us. And for the first 9 months that we were together, it was long distance and we just made it work. But because I was freshly out of college, driving back out there to see him wasn't a big deal, because I still had so many friends out there. And then about 9 or 10 months into dating, he took a job with my dad, and he called me. He was like, so I'm going to work for your dad on Monday. And I was like, okay. And he goes, so I guess I'm bringing my stuff over tonight. And that was the conversation of us moving in together. And so, yeah, he moved in with me, and then we got married a couple of years later. And this upcoming October will be 10 years together and 6 years married.
Wow. That's awesome. And I don't want to skim over that. Having a husband who supports you is huge. I have, I'd say, several clients whose husbands do not support them, and in fact are a hindrance to them. And I encourage them as their coach to just keep in your mind, you're going to be successful in spite of him. And not because you're mad at him, because, it's your husband. It's just that sometimes we have spouses who support us and will do anything. I'm fortunate like that too. And other times they minimize it, but it's up to us to just stay focused. Failure is not an option, and you're going to do it in spite of, no matter what, right? Well, I'm excited to see you, Amanda, at the second annual She's Unstoppable Live conference. And if you are listening or watching and you have no idea what I'm talking about, please go to she'sunstoppablelive.com. Again, she'sunstoppablelive.com. And please don't miss out. It is April 14th in Richmond, Virginia, at the Hilton Spa and Hotel. I can't even remember what it's called. It's a beautiful hotel adjacent to Short Pump Mall, which is one of the most beautiful malls. And the other thing I want to say is that many of the people who are traveling from far away signed up for the VIP ticket. And with the VIP ticket, they get to come to, it's actually a 3-day event, because the night before we have a pre-conference reception from 6:30 to 8 on April 13th. And then, of course, we have the conference day, April 14th, and the VIPs get served a beautiful lunch, and it's a roundtable lunch with all the speakers and industry influencers. And then the next day, the day after the conference, which is tax day, April 15th, from 9 a.m. until noon, we're having a doing, DOING morning, where I don't want anyone to leave until they have a plan to execute when they get back home. So that's what we're going to be working on the following morning. So she's unstoppableive.com. And don't forget, Amanda, Gravity Marketing. How can people find you? Please tell us.
So they can find me online at gravityrealestatemarketing.com. They can find me on Facebook and Instagram, both at gravityrealestatemarketing.com as well. Or if they want to just shoot me a quick email, they can reach me at amanda@gravityrealestatemarketing.com. And I'm really excited. I am almost done with my brand new website. So be on the lookout for some emails regarding that. But what I'm really excited about is I'm having this new tool installed on it to where agents can come on, upload, put in their website domain and get an instant report on if they're ranking on Google and where they're ranking, and kind of get a quick analysis of their website to get started on kind of growing their online presence. So I can't wait to get that tool up and running.
That is amazing. And every agent needs that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, check out Gravity Marketing and Amanda Webb, and we'll see you in April. Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks, Jan.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.